The Lunaverse by Rainbow Double Dash. Episode 12, A Hard Bargain by Apple Smash. Chapter 1, Morning Rituals and Meanings. It was another beautiful day in Ponyville. The birds were singing. There were only a few clouds in the sky, and Ditzy Doo, the mail mare, was busy doing her early morning rounds. Next on her deliveries was a package for her good friend Trixie. Ditzy was first going to leave the package in the mailbox, but then she saw it was one of those parcels that the receiver had to sign for. The mailman knocked on the door, but got no reply. This was strange because Ditzy knew Trixie wouldn't have started work yet. There were definitely signs of life. Ditzy continued to knock patiently on the door, but unfortunately for her, the night court representative was in the middle of a key part of her morning ritual. In the Southland there's a city, way down on the river, where the fillies are pretty, and the colts all deliver. As the water from the shower came down, Trixie continued to sing as she watched herself. Wait, I'm actually doing a song for Princess and the Frog? A really good Disney movie? Wow, haven't gone back to my usual pattern of a Lunaverse after a really good multi-part story, and already I've been given a gift of something awesome. Thank you, Apple Smash. They got music, it's always playing, starts in the daytime and goes on through the night. When you hear that music playing, hear what I'm saying, it makes you alright. The blue unicorn's horn started to glow as the washcloth came to life. It continued to scrub Trixie as he started to sway her hips to the imaginary music. Somebody, come on down, bring your paintbrush, paint the town. There's someone's sweetness going round, catch it down in New Orleans. Excuse me, Trixie? Trixie was snapped out of her song. She turned to see Ditzy standing, holding a clipboard. Look, I know you're busy, but there's a lot of mail I need to get through today. So, would you mind signing here before you start the next verse? There was a loud crash as Ditzy was thrown out the window. A quick flap of her wings was able to land her softly on the ground. She turned back in time to see her clipboard flying out the window, too. Surprisingly, it had landed right in front of the mailmare's feet. She looked down and smiled tearfully when she saw Trixie's signature at the bottom. Thank you! See you later! My little pony, my little pony. Ah, my little pony. Friendship never meant that much to me. My little pony. But you're all here now, I can see. Stormy weather, a lost share. A musical bond, with loving care, teaching laughter. It's an easy feat, and magic makes it all complete. You have my little ponies. How did I ever make so many true friends? The Lunaverse, made by Rainbow Double Dash. It can presented by Hasbro. It can happen only on the hub, as read by Martial Art Fruit user. Why are you complaining to me about this? Pokey Pierce asked. Because I pay you your wages, so you have to listen to me! Trixie sat back. Currently, the two were on their way to have a working lunch with the mayor and the rest of the council. So then, after having my morning ritual interrupted, I stopped at Sugar Cube Corner to get me a pick-me-up, only to find out that they were completely out of chili powder. What sort of establishment sells hot chocolate without stocking up on chili powder? One that caters to normal ponies, Pokey offered. Trixie glared at her assistant. You know, Pokey, I don't pay you to mock me. Frankly, some days it feels like you'd have to pay me not to. Pokey paused for a moment when he saw somebody big he recognized. Hey, Big Mac. Trixie turned to see where Pokey was looking around and saw that it had to be the biggest stallion she had seen in her life. To top it all off, he was bright red and idly tossing hay bales onto the wagon as if it were nothing. He stopped to turn to the two unicorns. His eyes half lit and almost looking bored. Morning, Pokey. Morning, Miss Trixie. The gears in Trixie's head started to grind. Hi. Have we met? Probably not, Leslie. The red stallion held out a hoof. Big Macintosh. Trixie took the hoof. Only after seeing the green apple on his flank did she get a clue who she was talking to. You're related to Applejack? Brother. There was an awkward silence until Pokey decided to intervene. Well, we better be off. See ya, Big Mac. With a gentle nudge, Pokey led Trixie away, while the farm pony went back to lifting bait hails.
Managed to make that one awkward, didn't you?
Pokey muttered. Sorry, but did you see how big he was? Trixie shot back. What have they been feeding him?
Mostly apples,
Big Mac called out. Trixie promptly quickened her pace when she realized he was still within earshot. All right. I get that he's Applejack's brother, but why haven't I seen him around before? Pokey shrugged.
He's out of town a lot, and when he is in town, mostly keeps him to himself. Besides, considering that he wasn't wearing a big mirror, I'm surprised you even know some— OW!
When he was certain you weren't paying any attention to him, Big Mac stopped what he was doing and looked back at the two unicorns walking away. Pokey having suddenly developed a sudden limp. He didn't react when he was joined by Granny Smith. So, that's the only magic? Granny asked.
Yup,
Big Mac replied dryly. And isn't that kid about the same one as...
Yup.
You think maybe there's a connection?
Maybe.
Still makes you curious, doesn't it?
Yup.
Granny Smith raised an eyebrow. Not worried today, ain't ya? Big Mac didn't reply. Instead looked at the big clock.
Almost lunchtime.
The train pulled into the Ponyfield station. When the conductor gave the all clear, the passengers started to disembark. No one paid particular attention to three stallions, one slightly below average size, flanked by two larger ones walking out. The small one stopped to take in the scenery.
Well, isn't this just quaint? A lot different from home, eh, boys?
He looked up to see that his companions were too busy scanning their environment.
Relax. This is a camouflage. No one will recognize us here. It's not like we'll be here long. Which reminds me.
The stallion approached the ticket counter.
Excuse me. I was wondering if I'd be able to buy 2 tickets to Manehattan. 1 adult and 1 child for today after tomorrow.
The teller looked on, slightly confused. Sir? Where's your child? The stallion waved his arm dismissively.
Oh, not for me. I've already had my return tickets. I was just wanting to get some for friends that are coming back with me.
Oh, right, the teller replied sheepishly. So, what's their names? The stallion smiled sweetly.
Dinky and Ditzy Doo.
He placed the required bits on the counter, and it's definitely one way. Dinky sneezed. Are you okay, Dinky? A blue filly with a bow and arrow cutie marks is asked. I'm okay. I just got my nose. Okay then. Heads up! The ball came flying back into Dinky's direction. Except she misjudged her headbutt. Instead of going back to Archer, she bounced it the other way and landed between a pair of big red legs. Dinky's eyes followed up the legs and saw the big, massive body of Big Mac. The stallion smiled warmly before kicking the ball back to her. Thanks, Big Mac. Big Mac chuckled briefly as he watched the young filly run back to her game before heading off to his destination. He stepped into the classroom to see Cheerilee sitting on her desk going through some papers. He knocked on the door to get her attention. Cheerilee looked up from her papers and smiled widely. Oh, Big Mac. Come in. How are you? Big Mac shrugged nonchalantly before looking down at the papers.
By your time?
Not at all. Just getting ahead on some marking, Cheerilee replied. Though, knowing your sister, we might be expecting a visit any second. Right on clue, Applebloom burst into class. Boom! Laura, it's you think I'll think it wasn't my fault!
Applebloom.
It was about that thing with the goose. I'll swear I'll have nothing to do with it. Applebloom. The damaging gal say something. She says lying to get me into trouble.
Applebloom.
Listen, don't waste my parents are telling you. It's just the there. Why didn't I anything?
Applebloom! I'm all here because of you.
Applebloom stopped pouring on the excuses. You're not?
Nope.
Oh, well, I guess I'll see you at home. Bye. Applebloom trotted out of the classroom. Both adult ponies, knowing the young filly enough, continued to stare at the doorway. Almost instantly, they saw one of the tips of Applebloom's bow peeking out of her frame. Applebloom, Cheerilee said sternly, if you want to spend your recess indoors, I'm sure I can find some work for you. They were answered by the sound of a filly running for dear life. The two ponies let out a chuckle at Applebloom's expense. So, what brings you here? Big Mac shrugged once more, before reaching into his saddlebag and pulling out a paper bag, which he placed on Cheerilee's desk.
You brought me lunch? Oh, Big Mac, you didn't have to do that.
As he then saw the stallion staring at her skeptically.
Hey, it's not like I forgot to pack my own lunch. I'll have you know that I'm not as absent-minded as I was.
To prove her point, she pulled out an apple and placed it on the desk.
See?
Big Mac looked down at the apple, and then back at Miss Cheerilee, raising an eyebrow. The teacher let out a frustrated groan.
Fine! That's the apple that Apple Bloom bought for me. Happy?
Big Mac didn't reply, but instead pushed the paper bag closer. Cheerilee's curiosity got the better of her, so she opened it up and let out a delighted squeal when she saw
a dandelion club sandwich and a Philadelphia-style jelly roll. My favorite!
Big Mac smiled knowingly. As Cheerilee took out the first half of her cloud sublets and started to dig in, Big Mac pulled a paper bag of his own. There was an uncomfortable silence as the two friends enjoyed their food. Big Mac paused as he saw the paper bag on his desk. It was remembered why he was there. Actually, speaking of Philadelphia, there was something I wanted to talk to you about. Chapter 2. Carrot.
It's very kind that you thought of me, Cheerilee said, but it just wouldn't be fair of me to leave this school and my students in the lurch like this.
Big Mac nodded his head. He obviously could respect job loyalty as well as Cheerilee not wanting to undermine his sister's education.
And though this position is nice,
Cheerilee looked again at the sheet of paper, listing her potential pay, as well as the other benefits she would receive.
Very, very nice. I'm just not ready to leave Ponyville. You do understand, don't you?
Yup.
Cheerilee smiled as he placed her hoof on top of Big Mac's.
But thank you for letting me know about it.
The teacher said sincerely,
You're such a good friend.
She looked at the clock.
Well, I should probably start getting ready for class.
Yup.
Big Mac stood up and took his leave, almost walking to Trixie. He gave her a brief nod before continuing on his way. Trixie paused as he watched the stallion walk off.
How is it that I go from never seeing that stallion into running into him twice in one day? Did he start wearing a mirror?
Trixie stared at the school teacher before deciding to retaliate.
So, does Carrot Top know that you're getting cozy with one of the apples?
Carrot Top wouldn't care, Cheerilee replied, and I'm not getting cozy with Big Macintosh. He's just a good friend.
Really?
Trixie sat on the desk.
How good is he?
Cheerilee pushed the blue mirror off.
He is just a friend that decided to stop by and bring me lunch and tell me about
She gave a subtle cough and tried to mumble the last part.
Job over!
Trixie unfortunately heard her loud and clear.
The apples want to hire you.
Not the apples. There's a school in Philadelphia that wants to expand and are looking for more teachers, Cheerilee explained.
Stop that. Stop what?
I know that look. You think this is another Octavia thing. Trixie shrugged.
Well, maybe I do. A friend stops by out of the blue to offer you a job. That means you'll have to leave Ponyville. See a pattern?
Yes, and there are also some key differences. The job is in Philadelphia. Big Macintosh told me about it because an old schoolmate of his works there and had asked him to know if he knew of any good teachers. The school is publicly owned, so it's not like some duke pulling the strings, and, most importantly, I told him no, and he accepted it.
Good. But just to be safe, you better give me the name of the school.
Cheerilee sighed as he handed over the job description.
So,
are you going to start assuming that every time one of us gets a good offer, it's some elaborate scheme by Duke Bluegrass?
Firstly, it's Duke Greengrass,
Trixie retorted.
Bluegrass retired from active politics last year to spend more time on his banjo. Secondly, Greengrass is dangerous, but he's not the only one that would like to get a hold of an element.
Trixie levitated the apple that was sitting on the desk and took a bite of it.
Right now, it's safer to assume that everyone carries an ulterior motive.
Like the blue mare that just stepped into my class?
Oh, I absolutely have my own motives. I wanted your help with this policy that the mayor told me about, but that's not important right now.
Trixie peered to the paper bag.
Hey! Are you going to eat that jelly roll?
Cheerilee grabbed the paper and held it positively. Thank you for your concern, but everything is fine. Class is about to start soon, so I need to get ready. I'll drop by your place after dinner tonight and help you with that policy. There was a finality in the teacher's voice that Trixie didn't dare argue with.
All right, I'll see you then.
The blue mare walked out. the partially eaten apple floating behind her. Shirley shook her head, trying to refocus. There's still 10 minutes before recess was over, and she was ready for the afternoon lessons, but still wanted some time to enjoy her jelly roll. She took it out of the bag and was about to take the bite when Dinky ran in.
Miss Shirley, you better come quick! Appleford is accusing a Dixie of stealing your apple!
Shirley groaned slightly, wondering if waiting until she had finished her treat would make her a bad teacher. They're not using bad language, are they?
No, but apple blooms convinced the rest of the class to join in.
Dinky explained.
They tied Trixie up in school who said something about waterboarding her.
Shirley groaned again. The mailbag bounced happily against Ditzy's side, considerably lighter than it had been at the start of the day, as the gray mare headed back to the post office to drop out the outgoing mail and to pick up her next load.
Excuse me, Miss Doo?
Ditzy turned to see a shorter than average earth stallion with a chocolate-covered coat, a styled black bluish-gray mane, and a golden hourglass with black wings at the key mark.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Parley.
You don't need someone else's permission to introduce yourself, silly.
Ditzy replied with a giggle.
Who are your friends?
Parley tilted his head slightly.
Friends?
Those two guys you were talking to before you came over, Ditzy explained. The ones that are still looking at us.
Parley turned back and saw two large, almost identical earth stallions. Both had dark blade coats and shortly cut charcoal manes. The only main difference was that one had a silver coin for a key mark, and the other had a lead weight. Both were also trying, and failing, to look inconspicuous. Parley resisted the urge to let a frustrating groan, but instead did a beckoning gesture with his hoof.
My apologies. We didn't want to seem as if we were crowding you. These are my associates, Plata and Palomo.
Wow, you have associates, Ditzy said. Almost everyone here just has coworkers.
Parley wasn't quite sure if he was being mocked, or if Ditzy was genuinely impressed.
I was wondering if we could have a word. I wanted to talk to you about your future.
Well, I'm not supposed to spend too long chatting with ponies while I'm on my route.
Ditzy paused as she checked the time.
But I've only got to drop off the outgoing mail, and then I have a bit of time before I start my afternoon route. I can talk to you then.
Oh, please do,
Parley said cheerfully.
Trust me, you'll be glad you're dead.
The three stallions waited outside the post office while Ditzy went in.
Hey there, Ditzy!
Post-haste cheered gratefully.
Want me to make a head start on your next pile?
Not today,
Ditzy replied.
There's some ponies outside that want to talk to me about my future.
Post-haste tilted his head slightly.
Like what? Fortune tellers?
Ditzy thought about the three ponies that were waiting outside for her.
I don't think so. I'll be right back.
She stepped out and found Parley waiting for her, with Plata and Palermo waiting a bit further away, although this time not bothering to act inconspicuous.
I figured it would be better for us to have a bit of privacy, he explained. Though, you know, I really could go for a blueberry muffin now. Interested?
Ditzy was always interested when muffins were on the table, but she knew she couldn't.
Sorry, but I don't have that much time before I have to get back to work.
So you mean on top of being a skilled and diligent worker, you also know how to time manage?
Parley sounded genuinely pleased.
Miss Doo, your resume is tickling all the right boxes.
Ditzy stared.
Resume? Boxes? What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, getting ahead of myself. You see, Ditzy. Is it alright if I call you Ditzy?
Ditzy nodded.
You see, Ditzy, the ponies I work for sent me here because they want to offer you a permanent consulting position at their Manehattan head office.
Parley pulled out a business card and handed it to Ditzy. Stronghold Construction and Architecture.
We're growing an organization that's aiming to be a world leader in construction and innovation,
Parley explained.
But why are you coming to me?
Ditzy asked.
I don't know anything about construction or architecture.
But you know air currents, Parley replied. You don't realize how vital that talent is.
Ditzy stared at the business pony.
How is knowing air currents vital to building?
Well, in a town like Ponyville, it's not that important because you're only building 2-3 stories high at the most. But in Manehattan, we're pushing the boundaries of what we are capable of and striving to build bigger, better buildings.
We need to account for a whole bunch of previously thought of as trivial factors, like air currents. Parley meaningfully nodded his head to Ditzy. You know how many building projects have failed because the designs haven't factored in the effect wind would have on it? A lot.
Wow, Ditzy said. Honestly, never realized how important her talent could be outside from the weather.
Well's right, Parley agreed. We are able to provide training and resources, but we still need some pony with the raw talent. That's where you come in.
Me? Work in Manehattan? I don't know. It's very far away. There's no way I could do there and back every day.
That's the best part. We're not just offering you a job in Manehattan. We're offering you to help you move to the greatest city in Equestria. Plata will be helping you move in with the financial side, and Palermo is really good at helping ponies relocate. Day after tomorrow, you will be going to bed in your beautiful new home, overlooking the splendors of Manehattan.
But Ponyville is my home,
Ditzy argued. It's lovely, but I can promise you that Manehattan is in a league of its own. Besides, how nice can this town be if this, Parley gestured to the post office, is the best it can offer you?
Hey, I like my job,
Ditzy argued. Really? What do you like about it? The long hours, subpar pay? Tell me, how much do you make as a male mayor?
We're not supposed to talk about our earnings, Ditzy replied. It's against policy.
Parley tissed disapprovingly. You know what sort of companies make policies like that? Ones that know they're shortchanging their employees, but don't want them telling any pony about it. You know how much you could earn when working for Stronghold? Parley leaned forward and whispered the figure to Ditzy's ear, taking great satisfaction from the look of shock on her face when he pulled back. And that's just the starting salary. In 6 months, you could be earning twice as much. Not to mention a shorter workday and flexible hours. What that adds up to is a lot more time and money you'll be able to spend on the important things in life, like that beautiful daughter of yours. Parley paused to gaze the reaction Dinky had on Ditzy. You know, my mother was a single parent too. Growing up, love was one of the few things our family had. Mom would work long and hard on a crummy job so she could provide for us, working herself to the bone so that we had food on the table. We meant the world to each other, but some days I barely saw her. She would have gotten a better job if she could, but no one ever gave her the chance. Stallion did close his eyes and turned his head. That job robbed years from her life, and finally, on her deathbed, she told me that she wished she had spent more time with me growing up, and be the mother she thought I deserved. Parley opened his eyes, looked back at Ditzy. I loved her more than anything else in the world. And seeing her die with such remorse and guilt broke my heart. She took one of Ditzy's front hooves and held it. I don't want that to happen to you and Dinky. A stunned Ditzy took her back off his shoulder and replied, I gotta get back to work. Parley smiled sympathetically. I understand. It's a lot to take in. Why don't you just sleep on it and we'll speak again tomorrow. Ditzy nodded and went back to the post office without another word. Parley turned and rejoined his associates with a triumphant smirk. We got her.
You so?
Bud asked, looking somewhat unconvinced. Trust me, unless she's as dumb as she looks, there's no way she refused a carrot we're dangling in front of her, as if.
And what if she says no?
Parley shrugged. Well, that's what you two here are for. Chapter 3. Consideration. The three Manhattanites had received the keys from the reception and were heading to their motel room. Not an ideal choice, but Parley stated, we weren't due to draw too much attention to ourselves. Palermo was busy complaining. Porque estamos perdiendo el tiempo. Porque eso no conveniente a corruptos en el Feremo y el serioso conquisto. Why are we wasting time? Why don't we just grab the freak and be done with it? Parley turned to Pilata for translation.
My brother wonders if it would be wise to be waiting for the mayor to accept the offer.
Parley sighed. And this is why I'm the one charged in negotiations. He ignored the growl coming from Palermo. Gentlecoat's unneeded hostility would be counterproductive. Forcing the issue means that we might face retaliation from the other elements, which could ultimately lead to the retaliation for Princess Luna. Let's try to avoid that.
Monsieur,
Plumbo muttered. Plomo no te dice para robas, Plata scolded before turning to a curious Parley.
He says it makes sense.
Plumbo, watch your language. Parley nodded and opened the door to their room, only to find that instead of having 3 beds, it had 1 double and 1 single bed. Oh dear, well, nothing we can do about that now. You two are just going to have to be very cozy tonight. He then made himself comfortable on the double. Ah, true, queer no veo de desolera vivo de paciento. I swear I am going to skin that little. Plata stuck in from his Flambo.
My brother and I are going to check out town. Get a lay of the land, just in case.
Fine, Probably said decisively. Just try to look a little less like Manehattan thugs. We don't want people getting suspicious. Pokey was doing some busy work around the representative house when he heard the front door slam open. He turned to see a disheveled Trixie storming past.
You are right.
I am never having children!
Pokey shrugged.
Don't think the collective team pool will suffer too greatly from that loss.
Cancel all of my appointments for the rest of the day, Ditzy ordered. I've just had a traumatic experience and need to consult with my therapist.
Pokey paused.
You have a therapist.
Yes, Dr. Bourbon. FISD, MD, DDS, and STFU!
That sounds about right,
Pokey muttered.
Well, you don't have any appointments today.
Good!
Trixie marched into her office and then probably backed out.
However, Big Macintosh is here to see you and is currently waiting in your office.
Trixie let out a frustrated groan as he put her face in her hoof.
Ugh, remind me again why I keep you around?
Pokey brought himself to his chin and pretended to be in thought.
Well, at the top of my head, I have to say it's my sharp wit, excellent work ethic, magnificent horn, incredibly nice backside, and the fact that without me, you'd probably drown yourself in liquid just to escape the paperwork.
Trixie glared at her assistant for a moment before turning back to her office.
For your information, your backside isn't that nice. It's a 5 at best. 6.5 when I'm drunk.
So, 6.5 on average.
Trixie would like to have had that thought she had gotten Pokey when she slammed the door in his face, but she knew he had gotten quicker. Big Mac, to his credit, sat quietly looking intently at the picture that was behind the desk. Despite her mood, Trixie couldn't help but smile at the picture.
My grandfather, she explained. Quartermoon the Magnificent.
Great, well, Jason,
Big Mac answered.
You went to see him?
Sincerely surprised Trixie.
Where?
Canterlot.
Big Mac replied. With Grandpa. There was an unexpected moment of silent camaraderie between the two, before Trixie remembered about his meeting with Tara. Turning her back to the picture, she faced the farmer.
Tara told me you came to her about a job offer for a teaching position in Philadelphia.
Yup.
Why would you do that? Rural schools like this. Who knows how long it might take to get a replacement? Why would you risk undermining the education of the school of your sister goes to just to give Shirley a job opportunity?
Not your business.
Well, I'm making it my business!
Trixie closed the gap and got into Big Mac's face.
Shirley is my friend, so if I find out that this job offer is just a scheme for the trust or some noble buying you off, I'll...
Trixie trailed off as Big Mac stood up to his full height. They gave her a look that would make stone flinch.
It's not a scheme, is it?
No.
Well, good to know.
Trixie backed away, right into a bookshelf, causing a big book to fall down right on her head. The hard stare Big Mac had been giving her quickly turned to one concern. You okay?
Yes, fine.
Trixie ignored the pain as he staggered behind her desk and tried to regain a sliver of dignity.
So, what can I do for you?
Big Mac pushed a piece of paper toward Trixie before he sat back down. The representative lifted it up to see that it was a bounty hunting license renewal form filled out by one Big Macintosh apple.
Bounty hunting license? What does an apple farmer need with a bounty hunting license?
She cowered slightly under the hard look that Big Mac gave her.
Not that's the same of my business, is it?
Nope.
To avoid the ensuing awkwardness, Trixie read through the form to check the writing flaws. All that was left for her was to cross-check it with the local bounty hunting registry and to verify details. Then once she signed it off, it was sent to the head office of Character Lab for approval. That was straightforward, albeit a tedious process that unfortunately clashed with her therapy session.
Well, this seems all in order, Tracy said with trained enthusiasm. I'll be sure to process this and have it sent first thing tomorrow. If it's approved, the new license will be sent to the address listed.
Big Mac sat unmoving from his spot, staring at Trixie.
There isn't anything else I need from you?
Big Mac didn't even twitch.
If there's any issues, I'll be promised to let you know.
Still nothing.
You're not going to move until I send this away, are you?
Nope. Trixie groaned.
Ugh. Fine.
She got up from her desk and started looking for the bounty hunting registry. After a couple of minutes of fruitless searching and the realization she honestly didn't know where it was, she stuck out her head of the office to shout for her assistants.
Hey! Pokey! Where do we keep the bounty hunter registry?
How should I know?
Pokey shouted from the kitchen.
We haven't had to do a bounty hunter license before.
What sort of assistant doesn't know where the registry is kept?
What sort of representative doesn't know where the registry is kept?
Tracy turned back to see the Big Mac, pointing toward the bookcase she had crashed into. Tracy went over to the bookcase and found that the book that conked her on the head had in fact been the registry. She let out a nervous chuckle as she brought the registry to the desk. After cross-checking Big Mac's details, name, address, license number, ECT, searching for the official seal, which somehow ended up in the medicine cabinet, and some more representative innocent banter, Pokey was out the door with a sealed envelope to take to the post office. Only then did Big Mac stand up and take his leave. Once he was gone, Tracy levitated the gas and was about to do the same with her spare bottle of bourbon when her gaze fell back to the registry that was still sitting on the desk. Her need for a drink having waned slightly, she now decided now would be a good time to do some digging. The school day was finally over, and aside from the whole Trisky fiasco and having to lecture her students about unnecessary interrogation and torture, Charlie felt that it had all been a very good day. She had been tying up in the classroom when Ditzy came.
Hi, Ditzy. After the star came by to pick Dinky up. That had been the arrangement, hadn't it?
Ditzy nodded. The half-sisters were spending the afternoon at Sparkler's shop.
Yeah, I know. I was actually hoping to speak with you.
Sure. Charlie stopped tying and faced the mailman.
What did you want to talk about?
Ditzy took a deep breath.
Dinky is doing all right, isn't she? In schoolwork and other stuff?
I think she's doing splendidly, Charlie replied. She's growing up into a fine young filly.
And is she happy?
I've always thought so, the teacher answered. Why? Has she said something?
No, it's just... Would Dinky be happier if I didn't have to work so much?
Charlie paused before answering carefully. I think she would be happier for your sake. She knows you work very hard, but she doesn't blame you for it, and loves you all the same you do to set aside for her.
But if I could find a way to not have to work as much and spend time with her, that would make me a better mother, wouldn't it?
That all depends on what you would have to give up to get that extra time, Charlie Karen. And being a good parent isn't just a matter of how much time you spend with your children, but also the quality of time you spend with them. Charlie saw that Ditzy still looked unsure. Look, I can understand that sometimes you feel that you don't get to spend enough time with Dinky. That's natural. We all sometimes wish that we had more time to spend on things that matter to us. But believe me when I say that you manage to fit more love and devotion into 1 hour than some stay-at-home parents fit into a whole day. The school teacher then gave Ditzy a hug. Don't worry. Dinky is doing fine. Ditzy returned the hug.
Thank you.
Charlie smiled. That's what friends are for.
So, Wind Whistler's moving house on Monday, and I was wondering if you could talk to Applejack about letting me have it off. Nope.
It had been a slow day, so Applejack had gone to pick up Applebloom and take her home, leaving Big Mac and Carabelle to finish selling produce and then pack everything up.
Oh, come on, Big Mac,
Caramel pleaded. I may have actually had a shot with this one. You know how hard it is to find a date when you're a farmhand? Not to mention your sister. Big Mac raised a threatening eyebrow. It's a fine lady and a pleasure to work for her. Big Mac rolled his eyes at Caramel's antics, but then paused when he saw Plata and Polemo walking through the market. Caramel noticed the change in demeanor. What's he say? Caramel asked. He started to turn to see what Big Mac was looking at, but then stopped when the red stallion put a hoof to his side. Alright, pull taken. That's easy on the physical contact. Folks are already starting to talk about us, and unlike you, I already haven't a hard enough time with the ladies as is. Caramel turned, this time casually, making it look like he was checking out the stock. When he turned back to Big Mac, his tone was husk. Yeah, those two definitely don't look like terrorists. So, think we should take them out? Big Mac gave a single nod. Alright, so how should we do this? Cheerfully Terry? Lazy gazing? Caramel sideways saw the look Big Mac was giving him. One caramel special coming up. The little stallion then picked up a basket of apples and said in a cheerful voice, Sure thing, Big Mac. I'll get these delivered right away. He then sprinted off. Big Mac took a brief moment to check if there were any potential customers, but all was quiet. Cross! Idiota! Idiot. Sorry. I subsidized every bone in your stupid body. Look, I said I was sorry. Big Mac trotted over to the scene. Apples were scared everywhere. Caramel was pinned to a wall with Polemo about to bash his skull in. Big Mac casually took hold of Polemo's hoof before any real damage could be done. Problem. Paletta sized up the newcomer and quickly decided that a confrontation wouldn't be worth it. No. My brother and I were just telling a friend how he should be more careful. Paletta stepped back and started to walk away. Polemo rested his hood out of Big Mac's grip and reluctantly did the same. But not before giving Caramel one last shove against the wall. Making sure to step on some of the apples, he walked away. The two stallions started picking at the apples, and only once were they certain they were alone did Caramel spike. Alright, I wasn't able to get that much. They were on me a lot quicker than those ponies. They could be military, but I'm thinking likely enforcers. They weren't carrying a lot, but I did see a rent key for a Mayflower motel. Oh, and a slight diss from the one he kept yelling at me in Calibranian. Caramel lifted up his hind leg to reveal a business card he had hidden under his hoof. Big Man lifted it up to inspect it. It was for a Manehattan-based construction company. Any idea what a couple of Manehattan builders are doing in Ponyville? Nope.